Hey, what is up? It's your boy Kevin here, and thank you for tuning into my channel on 2020. It's kind of crazy to say 2020 because I remember not too long ago it turned into 2000s. So yeah, 20 years have passed. It's really ridiculous to think about it like this, you know. So 2020, it's time for New Year resolutions. A lot of people thinking about making change in their life. You know, it's kind of funny that New Year always brings this kind of idea of, oh, we want to change, but that's kind of how traditionally how it's been, and it's kind of same for me, you know. It's kind of like sad to say that in a way, because like if you want to change, you should actually do it from this day, whatever this day it is. It can be like 5th of July, September, whatever, March, you know, it doesn't matter what day it is. It doesn't have to be New Year, but New Year always have been this kind of new page, new start. So yeah, kind of be going over my ideas for this year and just talking about generally some stuff, I guess, and maybe you will find something useful out of it. Hopefully you do. You know, I try to talk honestly about my ideas, not try to hide too much, you know, just try to be an open book and explain myself and what I want to achieve. And so where should I start, you know? I should start with probably one of my most important things, what I would like to achieve, you know. I would like to achieve some sort of more focused look on my life. I'd like to try is also this kind of bad word to use, because try kind of means that you're not fully committing to it, you know. So what I'm gonna do is I have to change my wording in order to use the right kind of words, not to use the wrong words, because if I wanna actually, if I'm gonna do it, I need to be fully committed and use the right words. This year I'm gonna focus on my focus. Yeah, it's kind of like this patience, and over the years this kind of I've had very bouncy mind. I always jump from subject to subject to subject, you know, and this kind of, I feel it causes me a lot of stress, and it's hard to get good at something if you bounce all the time. I feel like if I commit doing something for a long time, I actually get results. I actually do get results. So it's not that I'm not achieving something, but I think it's it's very similar to a lot of you. Maybe you can understand what I'm saying here. You know, if you commit to doing something for a longer time, you actually impress yourself with the results. You're like, wow, that's some results we got here, you know. So that's why I need to find a way how to focus, and just, you know, like find some sort of some one method that I'm gonna use, and I'm gonna just focus on it, not try to change it, not try to find some other, because this trying to find this other way goes back to this bouncing thing, you know. You're always trying to find something better, so this kind of bouncing thing becomes alive again if I'm trying to, oh, there's some spider web kind of thing around my finger. But yeah, so trying to avoid this bouncy thing, just focus on one method. And I think this method can, there's one YouTube TED Talk video that over the years have made me really big impact. It's called I think it was Ted Tuscan, and it's called How to Achieve Your Biggest, or How to Achieve Your Most Ambitious Goals. Something in the lines of that, it's the title. So if you're interested, go look it up after this video. And yeah, I think, you know, if you have this bouncy kind of mindset, this will really leave a big impact and you will really understand this. So I'm gonna be trying to focus on that, just doing like 5 minutes for like, you know, whatever, you know, just 5 minutes, just starting with 5 minutes for example, focusing on something, then doing something other that's really easy for me to do. Well, I mean, like just 5 minutes of focusing and like let's say 15 minutes of doing whatever I want, you know. So, you know, this is just so much better than actually not focusing at all. Just this 5 minutes of focused work to get this reward of, you know, whatever, doing whatever you want. So that's what I'm gonna be doing. On training wise, guys, this was kind of like the mindset aspect of what I want to achieve this year. You know, it's not like about achievement, it's about journey. It's just slight improvements where I want to improve myself. On training wise, I kind of stumbled on one video also on YouTube. Like, first of all, I found out about this on Joe Rogan podcast. This guest was Pavel Tsatsouline, and he also was on Tim Ferriss podcast. He talks about like this Russian weightlifting methods and so on, and this kind of brings you to the path of like old school strongman training. So I want to really focus my training, like having those aspects in my head, even though right now I'm not training outside of the home. So all the trainings that I'm gonna be doing are kind of like body weight. So I don't have gym access right now, unfortunately. So yeah, I'm gonna be doing home training, but like it's like just a lot of focusing on some like not training so much for exhaustion. First of all, is one of the key points. You know, let's say like you could do 10 reps of something instead of you're gonna do 5 reps, and you just, you know, you instead of doing like 3 sets of 10s, for example, you do like 5 sets of 5s. I'm not sure how it like exactly works. It's really hard to grasp all of that idea, but like just letting your body, you're not gonna burn yourself out. So it's, yeah, it's, so you're kind of like practicing the movements, and it's like it's really hard to it's really hard to like just grasp this idea and how it's supposed to work when you've always been stuck in this like only the last rep counts mindset. You know, you always try to press all out. But like if you kind of like look into the old school, like very strong men who have amazing strength, like numbers, like very impressive even nowadays, like all those numbers, if you check those and you like, if you look all of like quite often their ideas, how did they train, like a lot of times you hear like they didn't really go all out quite often. So that kind of, you know, then you kind of start to think like, do you really need to, for strength training for example, do you need to go all out, or like what actually stimulates the strength training? So that's why I want to really try out this kind of methods of training. I also want to try out periodizing. Periodizing is like you moving up with your weight, for example, every training, and starting with lower weight, going like easy weight for you pretty much, and then you slowly go higher, and then you kind of peak, and then you kind of go back to that beginning, but maybe not to the total beginning. You go second step from the beginning. So you kind of leveling up like this. So you kind of like first step, then you go to the second step, and it always goes a little bit further. So you always use more weight in the end, and you start from the higher weight from the beginning. So, but like it's also this kind of like you trust yourself, you know. You like the idea is that you can't always make progress. You can't always like it's not logical that you always will add more weight on. So you have to trust your body, you know. Sometimes you're gonna plateau, so you're not gonna actually use more weight in the end. So you go back, you do it again, you go back, you do it again. But it necessarily doesn't mean that you always have to press in the end for that next high weight. But like, yeah, it's very interesting concept, you know. It's just kind of like hard to grasp all of that, you know. If you guys have some interesting ideas about that, or if you're interested in that kind of stuff as well, just write down in the comment section what do you think about it, and have you thought about this more detailed, you know. So yeah, I think it was periodizing, not going all out, just like doing reps of sets of 5 repetitions. So, and like there's also like something like they say like creasing the groove. So it's like it's not like, so you take your training a little bit more, it's hard to say, like groovy or something, you know. So it's more about training is like practice, you know. It's not like so much about hard workout, it's you practicing some movements. And yeah, to be honest, it's really hard to understand all of this, hard to soak it all in. Trying to understand it, but it is very, very complex, I have to say, because some of the stuff seems to kind of go against what they're saying as well. So yeah, it's really hard to understand this concept. But like the main benefits of this kind of training is that you don't burn yourself out so much, less chance of injury, and if you're gonna still in the end, if there have been some historical data that there has been some good gains done with this kind of training, like following this kind of routines and this kind of like mindset, how they train, and they've made amazing gains, then why not? If you can just lower your chance of injury, overtraining, all this fun stuff, then I think it's always good to think about this kind of training, you know. And if you can be less time consuming as well and more taxing, you know, like if you end your workout always being like, you know, it was like a hard workout and you get a bit tired. So that's, I think, a very, very good thing, that you can work out and still feel strong after workout, you know. But yeah, I think that's it. I hope you got something out of it, you know. I'm trying to get better with my videos as well. Just, you know, that comes with that focus thing, not bouncing from one thing to another, and just, you know, making myself focus sometimes. That's it. It's been 15 minutes already, or something like that, 14, 13, 15, something, depends how much I need to edit out. But I want to say thank you for watching. I hope that you find something useful in this video. Be sure to hit the like button, really great help always. And if you haven't yet joined the fam, subscribe down below, press that subscribe button, also press that bell button so you know when the next video is gonna be live. Thank you so much for watching, and see you on the next one. Bye bye.